break for Team WE, fans of the LPL, as the comeback victory comes through for SKT off of a slightly rough start. But here's the thing. We were talking about a perfect tournament for SKT. All of a sudden, we're starting to see, okay, both with G2 and here with Team WE, there are ways to get advantages against this squad. The real question is if anyone can carry it through an entire game.
Yeah, I mean, people have gotten early leads versus SKT, but again, the strength that everyone always comes back to is this mid and late game, and it doesn't seem to be even faltering for a moment.
It's the calculated decision-making that once they see an error, how punishing they are on top of it. As soon as Team WE overreach for that Baron, SKT are like, this is game. Bear trap closed.
Now, Kobe, you've been talking about junglers throughout this tournament. I'm going to turn to you, Krepo. Let's talk about Peanut and his path. I'm going to pull up some replay here for you where Krepo's going to show us what's what.
Yeah, it's a really interesting start by Peanut. So I was a little confused. So I call up my local jungle buddy here, Ryan Koblar, and Kobe, we were thinking about this one.
I was trying so hard to come up with a reason to do this route.
Because you don't want to diss Peanut. You don't want to diss the SKT jungler with the organization and the research behind him, but it does seem that this is much slower than the perfect.
Literally, the only thing I could come up with is that you're saving an extra smite charge, and then he uses them both on the red and the Krugs. But basically, the power clear, the efficient power clear that people have come up with, and we've seen a bunch in North America, is starting on that blue, but then smiting the blue. You continue the channels on that side. You can move up through the red side, and then you move your way back down. You finish much earlier than this, and you could even get back to this same point.
Yeah,
before that time.
Much faster, and combined with the fact that the gank actually fails just a little bit, where they zone him off, and then they both flash off to him, and then they figure out, hey, Ivern actually doesn't have any damage.
Right.
Leads me to believe that the path actually was a mistake from Peanut, because it seems that they're just adjusting to this Ivern pick. Obviously wasn't played very often in the LCK, but I like to see SKT, some teams, they practice stuff in scrims. Maybe Peanut's like, you know what, this champ, I like it.
Well, we also talk about, we don't want to be predictable. You don't want to let people, be able to study your... It cuts into the mind games of, people researching, because researching Ivern jungle routes is very easy, and he very easily could have gone for either the power clear or the invade route. Ivern does keep you guessing.
It's inefficient, but unexpected.
Also, let me say there's a couple other tips that we saw that would lead you to believe that Peanut has not had a lot of Ivern games. Where he's like, Xiye is stealing away the Raptor camp. He goes up to channel it right next to him. He flicks an auto attack at him. He's like, what do you think you're doing there? And then finishes up stealing the Raptor camp.
I think he actually went Mikhail's rush as well.
He rushed Mikhail's. There were a lot of...
It's bold.
Right, but all of this said, it's a good sign when SKT can still win games and a player is showing that they're not fully practiced on a champion. I want to push us forward, though, because as he may not have been practiced on the Ivern, he sure as heck practiced at smiting. So this here, a replay of the Baron smite steal for SKT.
Oh, and this it hurts me to watch. I had my head in my hands at this. I think I was screaming at this point, like, no, please don't do it. And then it's just insult to injury. The fact that Peanut gets the slow-mo smite steal and he's Ivern on top of it. That guy just looks so cocky standing next to it, walking away with the Baron.
Yeah, he goes into the pit, and it's at this exact very moment we can zoom in and watch Froskuren's heart break all the hopes.
Also, remember, you just said it, Krepo. Ivern doesn't deal a tremendous amount of damage. In fact, very little damage. And so it requires WE to provide extra damage, and then Peanut is the one with the trigger smite right there.
And again, this kind of then points towards some issues with WE where we talk about, decision-making around the objective. Are we going to burst it or are we going to peel? And the decision has to be made clearly, so still, obviously, some issues for the team to work through. But here's my question. After 4 games of play, I want you guys' assessment of this LPL squad. Where do they really sit for you within this tournament?
I like the fact that we are getting more of a kind of a consistent look from Team WE. They're no longer as sporadic as they were. They seem, we're gathering information from Condi. He abuses that information either through counter ganks or through heavy invades. It kind of is that stable standard. And if the gank works, they snowball ahead. If the gank doesn't work, we know we stall out and we kind of fall down.
I think we've seen individual prowess as well of multiple members here. The way Condi was playing, he was actually quite smart on this Rengar. This is a pick that few people have tried after the nerfs, but hasn't really been working out. We saw a couple of duels. Like there was one at the end in the bottom lane where he's closing on Huni, and he waited for Huni to path near Krug. So when he was fighting Huni, he actually could smite the Krugs to get extra health if he needed to. He's like doing these slight little tweaks and optimizations on these jungle champions, showing that he has a mastery of the role. So I want to see more of these individual outplays from WE members.
It should be noted that Rengar is a huge pickup for Condi. He played a lot in the LPL, played in the LPL finals. He also faced a Twitch, and he got to blow up Uzi. Unfortunately, Bang, very different Twitch, jumped on that one, regretted it.
Yeah, opens up right next to him because he's got Faker's Shockwave ready to go and gave him some confidence. But yeah, there are definitely some differences there.
All right, so we talk about Team W a bit. Let's go back over to SKT. I want to talk about Huni specifically in the top lane. You hear Zale talking about it. He feels that, you know, the pressure that Huni was able to create in the side lanes is what allowed them to stick in the game as long as they did and eventually get that smite steal, which really put him back into it.
I know that we want to talk about like Huni, and I agree, but I actually...
We can come back to it.
The unsung hero for me on SKT was actually Wolf on that Nami. Every single time I see this guy play Nami, I'm always incredibly impressed with that. His mid lane plays, you know, how he sets up his tidal wave, and he kind of herds you or leads you into a perfect bubble. He was constantly chaining these CCs in the Baron fight. Just went off, landing bubble after bubble again. Like, he just sits back. No one really notices him, but on Nami, he goes off.
It's hard.
The mermaid sheep herder,
yeah,
as it were. But okay, so recognizing
Now
that point, a tremendous, no, you're right, a tremendous number of bubbles hit just on the edge, right? He seems to have that timing down to a T. But let's talk about Huni because people are looking at, all right, this is a 7-man roster. They've been subbing him out throughout the regular season even, but here he is at this tournament, really picking up steam.
I mean, yeah, Huni came into this uncontested. Everyone's like, yes, best top laner. For most of, pretty much all positions on SKT, though, that is true.
Right.
But for Huni, it's more people are familiar with Huni and the different styles that he has shown. So the versatility that he also brings, you know, and the reputation that he does bring as well, definitely lend a lot of power there.
Yeah, and it's also the evolution, the fact that we are so comfortable with him. We've got to see him pretty much kind of like grow up and play all these different styles and become this all-encompassing top laner.
All right, he's been from every region, essentially, so he's got fans across the globe. Right now, though, we're going to hand it off to Shox, who is standing by with SKT's jungler.
Thanks, guys. I am joined here by Peanut Jungler for SKT after yet another victory for them, and pulling out the Ivern, which is a pick that we haven't even seen a lot in the LCK overall. So if you had to give yourself a score on how you played on Ivern in this game, what would it be and why?
오늘 피너 선수는 LCK에서도 별로 안 보여준 픽을 안 한 아이번 픽을 하셨는데 오늘 피너 선수의 아이번 픽을 스스로 평점 매긴다면 어떤 것 같나요? 본인의 활약이.
그냥 평점은 노말이고요. 노말 평범했고 그냥 저는 잘한 거는 그냥 바론 스틸이랑 마지막에 제 미카엘로 준식이 형을 살렸거든요. 그래서 그 두 개가 잘한 것 같아요. 네.
I think my overall performance is mediocre, normal, average play. But the two things I did well is stealing Baron and saving Bang in the last team fight.
Well, I heard you speaking right before the interview that you were asking, oh, did I get the MVP for that move? How important was it in the game? Because it was not like it was a super convincing lead for you guys for a long time. It was a fighting game or a close game.
이제 피너 선수가 이제 인터뷰 전에 바론 스틸에 대해 얘기한 걸 들었었는데 그럼 피너 선수 생각에는 그 바론 스틸한 장면이 경기에 얼마나 큰 영향을 끼쳤나요? 예를 들어 그 전까지는 사실은 그렇게 SKT 앞서가지 않았었는데 그 바론 스틸이 기점이 된 건지 뭐 어떻게 생각하시나요?
일단 네 바론 스틸이 저는 개인적으로 기준이 저희가 유리하게 시작하는 이제 바뀐 기준점이라 생각하고 이제 훈이랑 게임 끝나고 이제 바론 스틸 못했으면 좀 빡이었겠는데 뭐 좀 힘들었겠는데 네 그런 이야기 했던 것 같아요.
I do think that the Baron steal was a turning point for where we took advantage of the game. And after the game was over, I was talking to Huni, and we were like, if I didn't steal the Baron, the game would have been really much more tough than it was, actually.
Definitely would have been, but you guys did win. You guys are 4-0, and when it comes to looking to the next round, SKT looks unbeatable for now. So I'd love to know what you think of the battle between the teams under you guys, and if you think there's one team that might step up.
지금 SKT는 무패로 지금 4강에 점점 다가서고 있지만 사실 나머지 팀들은 점점 되게 진흙탕 싸움에서 지금 접전을 펼치고 있는데 피너 선수 생각하기에는 나머지 5개 팀 중에서 어떤 팀이 이 진흙탕 싸움에서 벗어날 수 있다 생각하시나요? 더 잘할 수 있을 것 같은지.
총 몇 팀이 올라가는 거죠? 이게?
이제 총 4강, 그러니까 3팀이 더 올라가죠.
3팀이면 저는 G2랑 FW랑 WE가 올라올 것 같아요. 네.
So if I had to pick the remaining 3 semifinalists, I would pick G2, Flash Wolves, and WE.
All right, cool. Well, good to hear, definitely as a European. Well, thank you very much, Peanut. Congratulations. And now back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Shox. Peanut and his Baron steal in that game activated the mystery gifting bonus, which doubles your chance of esports or legendary skins in the stores. And Crepo, right there, I heard you with a little smile and a smack on the desk as he predicts the other 3 teams that will be going to the bracket stage with them, G2 being one of them.
What can I say? I love me a jungler with some great taste. You know?
All right, well, with 2 days on the books here at the 2017 Midseason Invitational, the standings are taking shape. SKT are sporting a perfect 4-0 record. Flash Wolves, G2, and Team WE are sharing second, which leaves the Gigabyte Marines and TSM in last with just 1 win to their names. What is your impressions of these standings? I mean, obviously people have their, power rankings coming in, and to some degree they're starting to mirror that actually after day 2.
I don't think they mean too much just yet. We're at day 2. There's 10 games each, 3 more days to be played, and we've seen that any predictions, especially on the analyst desk here, seems to curse a lot of these teams. So I think we need to hold our horses until maybe like the end of tomorrow.
I like that plan. Now, throughout the Midseason Invitational, we've been asking you to show your regional pride. And right now, the Brazilian fans, no surprise here, are leading the fandom battle. Second place goes to Latin America North, and third to the Garena Premier League. All of our regions seem to be absent from that list. So you guys got to step it up, because I wouldn't mind an IP boost for myself. All right, there are still 3 days left in groups to shake things up here in Rio, and the competition continues tomorrow with a transatlantic clash between Europe's G2 Esports and North America's TSM. Then Flash will get their shot at SK Telecom T1, and Gigabyte Marines will go up against Team WE. All right, let's talk about this first matchup. We got Crepo, we got Kobe on the desk. We got to talk about NA versus EU.
All love here. I mean, Peanut has already informed me that G2 will be the team moving on.
Can't argue with that man, right?
So, yeah, it definitely does make it tough. TSM, yes, there are a lot of concerns that people have had heading into this tournament, and some of them are still showing. So those are still there. I still think that this is a very winnable game, though.
Yeah, I'm actually not too happy with G2 Esports as a whole, especially with the approach to the game. Like these one-dimensional comps, super slow gameplay, nail biters to win. Like I don't have the faith that they will just smash TSM, even though part of me as a European wants to be able to talk to Kobe after that match, and just put him down a peg, but it definitely can go both ways.
All right, Frost, these 2 are playing it timid. Can you just call it for me? Who's going to take it? TSM or G2?
G2 is going to win.
Okay, all right, that's
wow,
fair. That's
he
fair.
actually
No, but I want the tie break here. Let's go before tomorrow.
Frankly, I just think that G2, pound for pound talent, I think are being a bit more consistent. Like again, Hanser and Bjergsen, like they're showing up. Hanser a bit more hot and cold, but Spinskaren still Katy Perry impression continues to this day. All
right, there you have it, hot and cold. Let's see if they can shake that off and just get the hot. For now, though, it's going to be time for us to log off. So on behalf of everyone here, bringing you the 2017 Midseason Invitational, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.